as you let out of the bag again, you revealed already our artist in our mind personifies the whole implementer mindset, if you like, and approach to life in Bananarama, who were a phenomenal group in terms of their achievement. I mean, they were uber cool when they came out. I remember when they did that single with the Funboy 3, the X Specials guys, and they were cool. And certainly every teenage girl wanted to look like them, and probably every teenage boy fancied at least one of them. So they weren't disposable when they came out in terms of their output. Later on, it changed, and I think they moved into a space that was very, from the outside perspective, it looked very manufactured, and it's that bit of their career almost I think we're focusing on here when we think of them as implementers, because there was the vision of Pete Waterman and what they could achieve, and then they just got on and did it, and they delivered it very impressively.
Yeah, and if we think of that delivery bit, because we know that that's part of what it means to be an implementer, but I think the original composition of the band was performing between 82 and 2009. Oh, that's a long time. 27 years, that's an extraordinary period of time. And in that time, they released 11 albums. Yeah, this is hard work. And they had 30 singles in the top 50. That's about delivery in a consistent way that you would expect of implementers. And at one time they were seen as the biggest girl band on the planet, so they got stuff done. So I think that's why we're seeing them as that. Let's have fun, but let's also work hard and let's consistently deliver.
Yeah, which they absolutely did. And certainly commercially, Pete Waterman and the Hit Factory, or wherever they were called, certainly took them to another level, and that's when the number one started flowing. Once they got into that space of incredibly catchy, incredibly danceable, they even started covering other people's hits incredibly successfully at that time.
Well, there is one, isn't there, which was a cover that got to number one in the States. Joe, I can't remember what year that was. You'll know, Simon. And that was Venus, of course. But that was a cover. Now, and again, a sort of a touch of pragmatism in there, not being precious about their own music, but here's a good song, let's have some fun with it, we'll cover it, and a huge success.
And I think the thing about Bananarama at that time was they were a hit machine. And that word machine, I think, is important because the point of a machine is it does repetitive tasks for you. And Bananarama were doing that repetitive task for the record label. They were creating hit after hit after hit for the record label. Now, there was obviously personal benefit in that as well, but equally they were just a machine on some levels. I think the interesting thing though, John, is that implementers, if they're out and out implementers, quite enjoy the routine.
Yeah, and thank goodness. Thank goodness there are folk with that implementer proclivity who are comfortable, have energy for those repetitive tasks and get satisfaction from, okay, I've done that, I've delivered that one. So you're absolutely right. And I think that has to be a feature of the longevity of a band like Bananarama, that they were, for the most part, I know that things changed and you'll pick that up, but for the most part, comfortable with that hit machine repetition.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's similar. It's not exactly the same in every circumstance, but if you look at a very successful boy band or a very successful girl band, you will see that element of repetition and the element of just get your head down and deliver consistently good material, if you like, but in a way that makes money for the label. Where things, I think, start to go awry and where things break down for some of these boy and girl bands is where maybe there's an individual in the group who has an energy to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more autonomous in what they're doing, and don't necessarily enjoy as much the routine, make an album, go promote it, go on tour, come back, make another album that sounds very similar to the last one, similar dance moves, get out there and go and do it all over again. You know, we've got examples like Robbie Williams from Take That wanted to do things a bit outside of the Take That mold. In Bananarama's case, it was Siobhan Fahey who went off and created Shakespeare's Sister. And I think there's something in that, you know, starts to, it's almost like in GC Index terms, you can't hide your natural energies forever. You might be able to get your head down and do a good job because you know how to do that. But if you have a real energy for creativity, that's going to emerge at some point.
Yes, you're right. And it will feel thwarted or stifled by that need to do repetitive tasks. I think that's a great observation, Simon, because I'm sure you're right. That's a feature of one of the key tensions in probably all bands, really, when you think about it. That creative tension that can be wonderfully productive, but also potentially can be destructive.
Yeah, absolutely.